We want to have some discussion here. What are the features available in a database? According to your knowledge, just tell me, I will write down. So what kind of features database systems allows you? Because giving some feature for someone, through that some security risk is coming. Like, so we are giving something to someone means, so we are creating a channel for someone, right? So then we want to consider security aspects of that thing. That's why I want to talk a little bit about this. Any idea like why people always using database DBMS software in their application software? Is it just to manage huge data set, or in addition to that, are we getting any additional features? Something coming to your mind? Okay, let me put in this way. Now, if you just think like, so database servers allows us to take backups. I guess all of you have heard about this. Database people taking backups for various reasons. All right. So taking or else allowing us to take backup, just that's really good. Why? So if something happens, in case if we lost our data, so then we can recover our data using these backups, right? So we can restore backups and restore. So restore backup. So then we can get back our previous data. So backup, it's a good feature, but someone can think like even a file we can take a backup. So what's the point of talking about backups here as a nice feature? Any idea? Any one of you heard about what they really do? Okay, let me put you in a trouble in a way. Say you are working for some bank, let's say bank, right? So say they have a huge database. Say their entire data set size is 1 TB, right? Entire database data set size is 1 TB. Okay. Now they want to take backups very frequently, right? So if something happens, they should be able to restore from the backups, because bank people, the data set is the most important thing. So if they lost the bank account details, that's the end of the bank, right? So therefore, it's very critical. Now so therefore they may be taking backups very frequently, right? So they may be taking backups very frequently. So if some crash happens, so they should be able to restore and get back original data, right? So then if they start taking backups very frequently, then what will happen? Say they are taking backups only daily, just to make it simple. So then daily they want to have 1 TB of data. So one backup file, 1 TB. Next backup file, maybe more even, let's say 1 TB. So just think about how we are going to store these things. Like just think about few years, how we are going to handle it. It's a huge amount of data set, right? So can we buy tapes or hard disk or to store like this? And taking backup of 1 TB maybe takes reasonable time. So then are we going to stop all bank operations while we take backup at that moment? No, right? So can't do. So then should have a good way of taking up backups. So maybe you heard about grandfather, father, son model. Grandfather, father, son model. If not, search a little bit. So grandfather, father, son backup and backup model. So what they do, uh, actually, when you work with database servers, they mainly allow you to take three type of backups. Mainly allow you to take three type of backups. So one is uh, full backup. You take full backup. So another one is differential backup. So you can take differential backup. Another one is incremental backup. You can take incremental backup. So database servers allows you to take these three type of backups: full backup, differential backup, incremental backup. So full backup means so you take the backup of entire data set. That's it. It's very simple. Differential backup means you take full backup to the current point, everything. Like from previous full backup to current point, you take everything with the differential backup. Incremental backup, what we do, previous backup to current point, only changes you take as a backup, right? So these are three type of backup. So then this grandfather, father, son model. So what they do, they take monthly full backup, weekly they take differential backup, daily they take incremental backup. Like they are creating uh, a strategy, backup strategy. So then, like when we take full backup only monthly, so even it took say 30 minutes to take full backup, so then we can plan it how to do it, right? So differential backup you take weekly. So for 1 week, yeah, you take some time and backup. So differential backup always from full backup to the current point, right? So incremental backup, so always refer to the previous backup and the difference between previous backup to current backup it will take. So that's how it goes. So incremental backup you can take very frequently because it takes only the difference always from previous to the new one, right? So using these three, people can plan or come up with a backup strategy. So one way of doing, we call it grandfather, father, and son model. So I think your module outing also they have mentioned it, right? Just read a little bit. So about this type of backing up technique. So it's useful to know. So like taking backup is important because if something happens, you can easily go back and restore everything. So then you can get your data set back. Uh, right. So since I mentioned here incremental backup, one good thing is so that's very fast. Will not take much time since a small amount of data. The bad side of incremental backup is if like it's a chain, right? So you take so many incremental backup. Say daily you take incremental backup. So if one backup crash, so then it's like you can't use rest of the things. It's since it is a chain. So then it's risky. But then if you want to take differential backup, then it takes time and a lot of space because it is growing always, cumulative one. So just read a little bit about backup. So that's important. It's part of security as well. All right. And read a little bit about grandfather, father, and son model. So what it says simply, so monthly you take full backup, and weekly you can take uh, what is differential backup, and daily you can take incremental backup, like you can come up with the backup strategy. So such technique we call grandfather father son model, right? So in database servers, the one of the cool feature they have given is you can take backups in a nice way and you can restore it, right? So in addition to that, you can handle uh, transaction and concurrency control related things. So when people connect into server, maybe thousands of people sometimes connect. So we can configure server to work without any conflicts. So then, I mean, if someone doesn't configure this properly, what happens? So without knowing, some conflict will happen in the database side. So your database server getting wrong data, right? So mainly database administrator wants to look into these things. So it's not a main task of security person, but you want to have some idea, like there can be some chances because of this poor configuration of transaction and concurrency control, your database is getting wrong data, right? So at least you want to know that something like that can happen. Otherwise, DBA will say, okay, security person has done something, right? So you should know it can happen because of the poor configuration done by the DBA, or it may be because of the software developer. Software developer is not properly coded things. Transaction and concurrency control, they want to handle properly in their code. So therefore, in different levels, this kind of problem can happen. So DBA may be not configured properly, or maybe software engineer not maybe configured properly. Because of that, when many people works with the database server, there may be chances of getting wrong data, right? So handling transaction and concurrency control, that's another cool feature in database. Another thing is you can schedule things easily. Say you want to take differential backups daily, sorry, incremental backups daily. So you can even, I mean, schedule it. You don't have to go and execute always. So you can schedule it to run midnight. So you can schedule things. Uh, the one of the main feature in the database service is fast access to data. Access to data. So that I don't want to spend much time, because fast access to data we do use in indexes. So that's important for programming people and the DBA, not the security person. So you can create various type of indexes and fine tune your database server to speed up of server queries, right? And another thing is you can come up with various security related things, right? So there are a lot of options to set up security related things. So that's what mainly we want to discuss with this module. So I will come to those things a little later. Okay, so do you think that I missed any important feature related to databases and that important to us? Yep.